Hello, it's Trump Take 5. It's our second installment of the daily recap of what President Donald Trump has been doing, and this is a strange day because he actually didn't dominate the news himself yesterday. He was in the Philippines, and that may be why we haven't heard much from him yet, but his administration, on the other hand, had a lot of stuff going on. It seemed like a pretty busy news day, and most of it revolved around Jeff Sessions, his Attorney General. Sessions testifying in front of the House Judiciary Committee was sort of like a sporting event. It seemed like it was being covered as a sporting event, and he did what you would expect him to do. He couldn't recall anything about Russia initially when he was questioned before, and now he believes he rejected the suggested meeting that came from Papadopoulos, proposed between Trump and Putin meeting face-to-face before the election. One of the big reasons why this is such a big deal that people were watching what was going to happen here, besides the obvious stuff that's going on, is because in January, Sessions testified that he had no communications with Russia during the 2016 campaign, and that later came out to be untrue because he met with Sergei Kislyak at least twice while he was acting as a part of Trump's campaign. On the other side, Sessions had been making a lot of noise, and Fox News especially, but a lot of the Republican pundits that are trying to push their narrative, I guess you would say, have been tossing around this idea that there might be a new special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton. This revolves around a Clinton Foundation deal and a U.S. uranium company being sold to a Russian entity. Donald Trump himself did weigh in on this, that's why I mention it, but in his testimony yesterday, there isn't enough basis for assigning a new special counsel. President Trump was mentioned directly in a meeting of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee. Senator Chris Murphy, who's a Democrat, which I guess would be obvious, he basically went on record to say that he thinks that Trump is too volatile to be able to launch a nuclear strike that would be guaranteed to be in line with U.S. interests. I think a lot of people have shared that belief, but I think also at the same time, there's not much more to say there. So the story that I mentioned yesterday about Donald Trump Jr., that unfolded a little bit more. The WikiLeaks thing, Julian Assange or someone using the WikiLeaks account was communicating by direct message to Donald Trump Jr. during the campaign. Two things happened there. Neither one is super important, I don't think. We found out that Donald Trump Jr. did read that tweet because his father tweeted out something very similar to what it was saying to do and mentioned WikiLeaks by name 15 minutes after Donald Trump Jr. got his message from them. So there is a connection there. It doesn't prove that there's a connection beyond anything else at this point as far as Podesta emails and all that, but that is mentioned in what WikiLeaks told Donald Trump Jr. And the other part of this is that Donald Trump Jr. decided to dump his DMs online. He tweeted them so that everyone could see them, which probably has his lawyers upset with him. So as far as the Donald Trump day goes, it was a pretty slow one. He's over in Asia being the president. He's got a pretty full schedule over there. You can check that out at FactBase. I tend to believe that there's a tweet storm or two coming from him, if anything is what we've learned to expect. Since there isn't much else to say about Donald Trump today that we pretty easily get done within 5 minutes, I just want to mention that, with Sessions there, this whole idea of Russia meddling and everything else, it's important to remember, put it into perspective that espionage is a normal thing that countries do. You know what I mean? We do that to Russia and China and other major powers, and they do that to us. There's pretty clear indication that at the very least, people working as agents of the Russian government were spreading information in the hopes to divide people in the U.S. That part is pretty well established at this point. It would seem that they were trying to favor Donald Trump because Hillary Clinton had an already contentious relationship with the Kremlin. But at the same time, that part isn't all that out of the ordinary. Part that's out of the ordinary, and the reason why Sessions is such a big deal right now, is because the current U.S. president, Donald Trump, who this channel is about, consistently acts like nothing could have happened. And from a distance, it looks like he only takes this position because he thinks it might undermine his election win. So that's a very simple way to think about that. And there's years of personal history that we can look at to say that this is the kind of thing that Donald Trump might do. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.